I was sitting on my porch that January evening, ice forming on my old pickup's windshield, when Emma's car pulled into the driveway. Wasn't supposed to come tonight. The babysitter stumbled getting out, dropped her keys twice on the frozen ground. Her hands shook so bad she could barely hold her phone. "Miss Patterson," she whispered in the mudroom, checking over her shoulder. "I have to show you something." The video on her screen made my stomach drop. My wife Linda, in our kitchen, 2 nights ago, crushing white pills with the back of a spoon, stirring them into my cocoa. Checking the hallway, practicing her smile before carrying the mug out to me. "How many nights?" Emma's voice cracked. I couldn't answer. Couldn't remember the last 3 weeks clearly. Just fog. Linda called from inside. "Bill, honey, your cocoa's getting cold." But that was only the beginning. I walked to the garage instead of the house. Needed to think. Needed air that didn't smell like cinnamon and lies. Emma followed me to the workshop door, still apologizing. "I'm sorry, Mr. Patterson. I should have told you sooner. I tried. Remember 2 months ago when I asked if you took sleep medicine, but you said no? And I didn't know how to. You told me when it mattered." My voice came out steadier than I felt. That took guts." She nodded, wiped her eyes, got back in her car. I watched her taillights disappear down the street, then stood there in the cold, hands in my pockets, breath-making clouds in the air. The workshop smelled like motor oil and old coffee. 40 years of honest work in this space. I'd built engines here, taught my son to change a tire, fix neighbors' cars for the price of parts, and a handshake. Now I couldn't even trust my own kitchen. I turned on the radio. Hank Williams drifted out low. Sat on my stool, stared at the empty cocoa mug I'd left on the workbench yesterday. Or thought I'd left. Couldn't remember clearly. Tried to piece together the last few weeks. Thursday was blank. Completely gone. The porch step, third one from the right, I'd fixed it, hadn't I? But when? In that conversation with Pastor Mark about the church fundraiser, Linda said we'd talked for 20 minutes. I couldn't recall a single word. Every foggy evening started the same way, Linda bringing me something warm to drink. I pulled my father's pocket watch from the tool drawer, wound it, listened to the tick. He'd given it to me when I turned 25, the day I opened Patterson Automotive. Inscription on the back, "A man's word is his worth." And what's a man worth when he can't even remember his own life? The workshop door opened. Linda stood there in her cardigan holding another mug, steam rising in the cold air. "Bill, what are you doing out here in the cold?" Her voice was honey, always had been. "I made you fresh cocoa. The other one got cold." I looked at that mug like it was a rattlesnake. "Come inside, honey. It's freezing." Had to decide. Right now. Take it and keep pretending or confront her. "Linda," my throat was dry. "What are you putting in my drinks?" Her face did something I'd never seen before. Crumbled like wet paper. Tears came instantly, perfectly. She set the mug down, covered her mouth with both hands. "Oh God, Bill, I'm so sorry." She was crying now, real sobs. "I should have told you. I've been giving you herbal sleep aids, valerian root. You've been so anxious since you retired, tossing and turning every night. I just wanted to help you rest." She went to the cupboard, produced a bottle of valerian capsules, showed me the label. "I didn't want you to feel old, like you needed help sleeping, but I should have asked. I'm so sorry." She came close, put her hand on my cheek. "Bill, I love you. You know that. 42 years. I'd never do anything to hurt you." I wanted to believe her. God, I wanted to believe her. Because if I didn't, what did that make the last 4 decades? "We should renew our vows," she said suddenly, wiping her eyes. "Next month, for our anniversary. Show everyone, show you how much you mean to me." We stood there in the kitchen. She held my hands. I let her. "I'm sorry I worried you," she whispered. "No more secrets. I promise." That night, she brought chamomile tea instead of cocoa. "See? Just tea. Nothing else." I should have been honest from the start. I took the cup, went to the bathroom while she brushed her teeth, poured it in the sink, rinsed the cup, filled it with water, drank that instead. By 10 o'clock, I was still wide awake. First time in weeks. Linda was asleep beside me, breathing soft and even. My mind felt sharp, clear, like walking out of fog into sunlight. At 11:43, her phone buzzed on the nightstand. She stirred, checked it, slipped out of bed. I heard her footsteps on the stairs, going down to the basement. I followed, quiet, stood at the top of the basement stairs in the dark. Her voice drifted up through the heating vent. "No, he bought it. We're still on schedule." Pause. "Derek, relax. He's sedated upstairs. Yes, I'm sure." Another pause, then a laugh. "Wednesday's the estate meeting. Martin has the papers ready. Power of attorney, beneficiary changes, the whole package." My hand gripped the railing so hard my knuckles went white. "Once the Alzheimer's diagnosis is official, we're home free," she said. "Patterson Automotive property alone is worth $1.2 million. I made it back to bed before she finished. Lay there rigid when she climbed in beside me. At breakfast, she was cheerful, humming while she made oatmeal. "Oh, Martin Hewitt called," she said, setting a bowl in front of me. "We have an appointment Wednesday at 2 p.m., just updating our estate documents, routine stuff." She smiled. "At our age, we need to be prepared, right, honey?" I nodded, spooned oatmeal, said nothing. Wednesday. 6 days. I waited until she left for her church volunteer meeting Tuesday morning, 10 o'clock, same as every week for the past 5 years. Watched through the kitchen window as her car backed out of the driveway, turned left toward Main Street. Gave it 5 minutes, then opened her laptop. She'd never locked it. Why would she? I was supposed to be foggy, confused, barely able to remember my own name by now. Her email was right there on the screen, not even hidden. A folder labeled Property Docs. I clicked it. The first document made my hands shake. Refinance papers for the house. My signature at the bottom, dated October 14th. But October 14th, I'd been at County General getting my hip x-rayed. Had the hospital bracelet in my truck's glove box to prove it. Someone had signed my name while I was 3 miles away. I kept scrolling. Savings account transfers, our joint account, the one we'd built together over 40 years, 287,000 moved to a new account. Only her name on it. December 3rd, 3 weeks ago. Life insurance beneficiary changes. Used to be our son, Bill Jr., and our daughter, Sarah. Now just Linda. Truck, title, transfer application. The F-150 my father gave me in 1985, she was putting it in her name. I photographed everything with my phone. Hands steadier now, anger does that sometimes. Burns through shock, leaves something cold and clear behind. Then I saw the email folder. Derek. Opened it. Messages going back 8 months. They weren't love letters. Not really. More like business correspondence. Cold, calculated. Once Patterson's incompetent, I liquidate the automotive property. 60-40 split as agreed. Oh, you'll finally be free. Derek Malone. I remembered him. Owned Malone's Mechanics back in the day. Went bankrupt in 2008 after he lost a big contract. To me, Patterson Automotive got the county fleet maintenance deal, and Derek never forgave it. Another email from 3 weeks ago. Martin says the diagnosis appointment is Thursday. Make sure Patterson acts confused. The more witnesses to his decline, the better. Martin Hewitt, my lawyer. Our family lawyer for 20 years. I heard Linda's car in the driveway. She was back early. Closed everything, cleared the browser history, got to the garage before she came through the door. "Bill," she called. "I brought you soup from the church kitchen." And I grabbed a wrench, pretended to work on an old carburetor. Couldn't let her see my face right now. That afternoon, I found the appointment card. In Linda's purse, which she'd left on the kitchen counter. White rectangle with blue lettering. Dr. Emil Brennan, neurologist, Thursday, 10 a.m., cognitive assessment. I called his office from the garage. Patterson Automotive, the receptionist said cheerfully. "Oh, you mean your personal appointment, Mr. Patterson?" "Yes, your wife scheduled it 3 weeks ago." What exactly was she concerned about?" Paper rustling. "Let me see. Notes, hearsay, forgetfulness, confusion, wandering, inappropriate emotional responses, difficulty with familiar tasks." My jaw clenched. I see. Dr. Brennan's very good with memory issues. "You're in excellent hands." I hung up, sat there with the phone in my hand. She'd been building a narrative for weeks, maybe months, setting the stage, making sure everyone, the church ladies, the bank teller, the pastor, now a neurologist, everyone would believe I was losing my mind. That evening, Linda brought it up over dinner. "Honey, we have that doctor's appointment Thursday. For your memory?" She cut her chicken carefully. "Remember we talked about it?" I looked at her. Really looked at her. The woman I'd shared a bed with for 42 years, who'd held my hand at my father's funeral, who'd kissed our grandkids' foreheads and baked pies for church fundraisers. "We did?" I made my voice uncertain, confused. Her eyes lit up, actually lit up like she'd won something. "See? That's exactly why we're going. Dr. Brennan specializes in these things." She reached across the table, squeezed my hand. "Don't worry. I'll be right there with you. We'll figure this out together. Together, right?" After she went to bed, I sat in the garage with a notebook, drew a timeline. When did the drugs start? Hard to pin down. August, maybe? That's when the fog started. Financial moves. October through December. Systematic. Every account, every asset. Derek. Emails going back to April, before the drugs. This wasn't impulse. This was a plan. And Martin Hewitt, the lawyer. He had to be getting something out of this. Commission on the property sale. I'd paid him well over the years. Trusted him with every contract, every business decision. I needed help, but who could I trust? Saw the light on next door. Gladys Morrison's kitchen. 2 in the morning, and her light was on. Gladys had lived next door for 30 years. Her husband Henry died 5 years back. She was always baking something, always watching the neighborhood from her kitchen window while dough rose. Had she noticed? Had she seen? Wednesday morning, Linda was edgy, kept checking her phone. At 9:30, she put on her nice coat. "I'm running to the store. Need anything?" "I'm good." She left. I watched from the window. 5 minutes later, a truck pulled into our driveway. Vanity plate, Mech 1. A man got out, early 60s, fit, wearing a leather jacket that probably cost more than my monthly Social Security. He looked around, then used a key to open my front door. A key. He had a key to my house. I stayed in the garage, watched through the window as he moved around inside. Kitchen, living room. He was looking at things. Our things. Evaluating. Derek Malone. In my house. Touching my life. He made a phone call. I couldn't hear the words, but I could see his face. Confident. Smiling. 10 minutes later, Linda's car came back. She got out with grocery bags. Saw Derek's truck. Glanced at the garage, then hurried inside. I gave them 5 minutes. Then walked to the kitchen window on the side of the house, the one hidden by the lilac bush. They were at the kitchen table. Papers spread out, a bottle of champagne already open at 10 in the morning. Derek had his arm around Linda's waist. She was laughing. He kissed her. Not a friendly peck, a real kiss. "By tonight, you're rich and free," he said. I could read his lips through the glass. "We're rich and free?" Linda leaned her head on his shoulder. God, I can't wait to never see his pathetic face again. 42 years of playing house with a grease monkey. Derek's phone rang. He answered on speaker. "Patterson's signing today, right?" A voice I recognized. "Martin Hewitt." "He better," Derek said. The old man sedated and confused. "This is done." "My guys don't give extensions. I need that money by Friday." "Relax, Marty. By Friday, you'll have your cut." They hung up, went back to their champagne, their celebration. I stood behind the lilac bush, phone in my hand, photos of them through the window. 42 years. I'd given her 42 years. My phone buzzed. Text from a number I didn't recognize. "Mr. Patterson, this is Emma. Please be careful. Please don't drink anything she gives you. I'm praying for you." I texted back, "Thank you, Emma. I'm being careful." Another text came through. This one from Sarah, my daughter. We hadn't spoken in months. "Dad, I got a letter. Anonymous. Says you're in trouble. I'm coming home. Don't sign anything. I'll be there tonight." I stared at the text. Sarah was in Seattle. 8-hour drive. Who sent her a letter? I looked at Gladys's house. Her kitchen curtain moved slightly. Maybe I wasn't as alone as I thought. I drove to First National Bank just before lunch. Rita Chen had been the manager there for 15 years. She'd handled Patterson Automotive's accounts. Knew my signature better than most. "Bill," she smiled when I walked up to her desk. "What brings you in?" "Need copies of recent transactions. And signature cards." Something in my voice made her smile fade. She pulled up my accounts, started printing. When the papers came through, she went quiet. Laid them out on her desk, studied them. "Mr. Patterson," she kept her voice low. "This signature on the refinance authorization, it doesn't quite match your usual." And she pulled out an older card for comparison. "See, the P loops differently. The pressure's wrong." I showed her my hospital records on my phone. I was getting an x-ray that day. Across town. Rita's face went pale. She looked at the door, then back at me. "I shouldn't do this, but..." And she made copies of everything, slid them across the desk in a manila envelope. "Something feels very wrong here, Bill. You might want to talk to a lawyer." "My lawyer's part of it." Her eyes widened. "Then talk to the sheriff, Tom Daniels. He's a good man." I thanked her, took the envelope, walked out into the cold November air. Across the street, Martin Hewitt's BMW was parked outside Rosie's Diner. Through the window, I could see him sitting in a booth with 2 men I didn't recognize. Big guys. One of them grabbed Martin's wrist across the table, leaned in close. I got in my truck, waited, watched. Martin looked terrified, shaking his head, showing them something on his phone. The bigger man wrote something on a napkin, slid it across the table. Martin looked at it, put his head in his hands. The 2 men got up, dropped cash on the table, left. Martin sat there alone. Ordered whiskey at 11:30 in the morning. He had his own problems. Probably why he needed the money from Linda's scheme bad enough to risk everything. My phone rang. Martin's name on the screen. I let it go to voicemail. "Bill, just confirming our appointment today at 2 p.m. Really important we get these estate matters buttoned up." His voice was too cheerful, too bright, desperate underneath. "Linda mentioned you've been having some memory concerns, so I've simplified the documents. You'll just need to sign a few places. See you soon." I played it back 3 times. Heard the fear in every word. "Today. They'd moved it up from Wednesday to today. Couldn't wait even one more day. I drove home the long way, needed time to think. Pulled into my driveway just after 1. Linda's car was there. So was Derek's truck. Went straight to the workshop. Spread all the evidence across my workbench. Bank records, photos of Linda's emails, hospital records proving forgery, the appointment card, the voicemail from Martin. Paced the concrete floor. Radio playing low, some old Patsy Cline song about being crazy. Looked at the wedding photo I'd brought from the house. Linda at 22, me at 25. Her smile looked genuine. Was it? Had any of it been real? I remembered her bringing me lunch at the shop when business was struggling in 95. Holding my hand at Pop's funeral. Her laugh when our grandson took his first steps. Which version was the truth? I sat on my stool, head in my hands. Had enough evidence to go to the police. But what then? Town knew Linda. Church volunteer, charity work, always baking for fundraisers. I was just the old mechanic who maybe wasn't as sharp as he used to be. She'd spun the narrative already. Forgetful Bill, confused Bill, poor Linda, caring for her declining husband. Could just sign the papers. Let it happen, easier than fighting. Pop's pocket watch sat on the bench. I picked it up, read the inscription again. A man's word is his worth. And what was I worth if I just gave up? A knock on the workshop door. Gladys Morrison stood there with a thermos. Bill Patterson, I know you don't take sugar in your coffee. She stepped inside without waiting for an invitation. And I know something's wrong. I stared at her. She set the thermos down, pulled folded papers from her coat pocket. I've been keeping track of visitors to your house. Thought you might want to see this. When she spread them on the bench. Dates, times, photos, Derek's truck in my driveway, always when my truck was gone. 2 months of documentation. My nephew works at CVS Pharmacy, she said. Linda's been filling prescriptions under a fake name. Ambien, temazepam, paying cash. I looked at her evidence, then at mine. Why? My voice came out rough. Gladys's face was hard. My Henry, 5 years ago, his brother did something similar. Forged power of attorney while Henry was sick with cancer. Took everything. Her hands shook. I didn't see it until too late. Henry died thinking he'd failed me, but it wasn't him. And she looked at me straight on. I won't watch another good man get destroyed. Not this time. We stood there in my workshop, 2 old people surrounded by evidence of betrayal. What's your plan, Bill? Don't have one? Just been frozen. Then we make one. But I need to know, are you willing to fight? Before I could answer, my phone rang. Sarah. Dad, I'm getting in my car right now. I'll be there in 8 hours. Don't do anything until I get there. Oh, how do you know something's wrong? Someone sent me a letter. Anonymous. But Dad, it's bad, isn't it? I looked at Gladys. She didn't blink. Yeah, honey, it's bad. Don't sign anything. Don't drink anything she gives you. I'm coming. I hung up. The workshop felt different now. Not a place to hide, a place to plan. You sent Sarah a letter, I said. Gladys nodded. Figured you needed all the help you could get. Through the workshop window, I saw Linda come out of the house, looking for me. Martin's car was pulling up. What do we do? I asked. Gladys picked up the bank records, started organizing them. First, you don't go to that appointment. Let them wonder. Let them sweat. And then we wait for your daughter. And we figure out how to make the truth louder than their lies. Martin was knocking on the front door now. Linda let him in. I turned off the workshop light. Gladys and I sat in the darkness, waiting. My phone buzzed. Martin. Bill, we're here. Where are you? I didn't answer. Let them wonder. Sarah's car pulled into the driveway at 3 in the morning. I was sitting on the porch, couldn't sleep, watched her headlights cut through the darkness. She got out, looked at me under the porch light. Jesus, Dad, you look terrible. We didn't hug right away. Too much history between us. 15 years of it. Come inside, I said. Not the house. Where's your workshop? Smart girl. Always had been. Inside the garage, Sarah saw the evidence spread across my workbench. Bank statements, emails printed out, photos, timeline notes in my handwriting. She stood there in her Seattle Seahawks hoodie, studying everything like she was working a case. Gladys had gone home around midnight, but she'd organized everything first. Made it clear. Made it damning. 15 years ago, Sarah said, not looking at me, I told you Mom was manipulative, that something was wrong with how she operated. You told me I was being dramatic, paranoid. She picked up a bank statement. You chose her side, told me to apologize or get out. I know. I left, moved to Seattle, built a whole life without you. Her voice cracked. And I didn't want to be right about this, Dad. I really didn't. You were right. She turned then, and I saw tears on her face. I hate that I was right. We stood there in the oil-stained garage, both of us crying. Then she crossed the space between us and we held each other. First time in 15 years. I'm sorry, I said into her hair. I should have listened. You should have. But we'll deal with that later. She pulled back, wiped her eyes. Right now, we stop her. Gladys came back at dawn with coffee and a notebook full of details I'd missed. She'd been documenting everything from her kitchen window, every time Derek came over. Every trip Linda made to the bank, the lawyer's office, the pharmacy. Started watching 2 months ago, Gladys said, pouring coffee from her thermos. Bill, you were sharp as a tack last summer. Then suddenly you're wandering around confused. Linda's always explaining your behavior to the neighbors. She pulled out her spiral notebook. August 12th, first time I noticed you seemed off. August 15th, Linda at CVS picking up prescriptions. Sarah took the notebook, cross-referenced it with the email dates. This lines up. First email between Mom and Derek about the plan is August 3rd. They waited 9 days to start drugging him. I sat on my stool, listening to them work. 2 women I barely knew anymore, fighting for me. What about the lawyer? Sarah asked. Martin Hewitt. What's his angle? I told them about the scene at the diner, the men who'd grabbed his wrist, the whiskey at 11:30 in the morning. Gambling debts, Sarah said immediately. That's the weakness. Mom offered him a cut. He took it because he's desperate. Gladys nodded. My nephew said Martin's been at the casino every weekend. Heard he's in deep with some bad people. Then he's the weak link, Sarah said. When this falls apart, he'll crack first. When what falls apart? I asked. You two are talking like we have a plan. Sarah looked at Gladys. Something passed between them. We do, Gladys said, but you're not going to like it. They laid it out for me over the next hour. The church fundraiser was Friday night. Linda was being honored for her charity work. Pastor Mark was giving her an award in front of the whole congregation. Perfect venue, Sarah said. Public, witnesses, she's trapped by her own reputation. You want me to stand up in church and tell everyone my wife's been drugging me? My voice came out harder than I meant it. That I'm such a fool I didn't even notice? We want you to tell the truth, Gladys said quietly, in front of people who matter, so she can't spin it later, can't make you the crazy one. I can't. I stood up, paced. You don't understand. This whole town will know. Everyone at the diner, the feed store, the gas station. They'll all know I was too stupid to see my own wife stealing from me. Yet. Or, Sarah said, they'll know you were strong enough to stand up when it mattered. I'll look weak. You'll look honest. Gladys's voice was firm. Bill, I watched my Henry die thinking he was the failure. He never fought back because he was too ashamed. I won't let you make the same mistake. I couldn't look at them, stared at the floor instead. There's another option, Sarah said carefully. We file a police report. Let the system handle it. Quiet, legal, no public exposure. That's what I want. Okay. Sarah pulled out her laptop. Then we need a lawyer. Not Martin, obviously. Someone clean. I know a firm in Columbus. Wait. Gladys was frowning. If you go quiet legal, Linda has time. Time to destroy evidence, time to get her story straight. Time to have Bill declared incompetent by a friendly doctor. The system's slow, and she's been building her narrative for months. Sarah nodded slowly. She's right, Dad. By the time we get a court date, she could have everything moved to offshore accounts. Could have a diagnosis on record. Could make you look like you're having paranoid delusions. So what? I just stand up in front of everyone and humiliate myself? No, Gladys said. You stand up and take back your dignity. There's a difference. I sat back down, looked at Pop's pocket watch on the bench. 42 years I'd trusted Linda. How many of those years had been real? I need to think about it, I said. Fair enough. Sarah started packing up her laptop. But we need to decide soon. Fundraiser's Friday. That's 2 days. Where are you staying? I asked her. Hotel downtown. Stay here. Above the shop, there's an apartment. She smiled a little. You sure? I'm sure. After Gladys left, Sarah and I sat in the quiet workshop, just the sound of the old heater rattling. What did the letter say? I asked. The one Gladys sent you. Sarah pulled it from her pocket, unfolded it, read aloud. Your father is in danger. His wife is drugging him and stealing his assets. He needs you. Don't wait. A concerned neighbor. Simple, direct, true. You believed it right away, I said. Yeah. She refolded the letter carefully. Because it matched everything I already knew about Mom. I've been waiting 15 years for this call, Dad. Part of me hoped I was wrong, but a bigger part knew. I should have listened to you back then. You should have, but you're listening now. She stood up, stretched. I'm going to get some sleep. You should too. In a bit, she paused at the door. Dad, We're going to fix this together. However you want to do it, loud or quiet, I'm here. After she left, I sat alone with the evidence. The forged signatures, the emails, the photos of Derek in my house. Picked up my phone, found a name in my contacts I hadn't called in years. Tom Daniels, sheriff. We'd played football together in high school, back when my knees worked and his hair was darker. It rang 4 times. Bill Patterson. Tom's voice was warm, surprised. Been a while. Tom, I need to talk to you. In person. Not official. Not yet. Just, I need advice. A pause. This about Linda? My heart stopped. How did you? Gladys Morrison called me yesterday. Didn't give details. Just said you might need a friend in law enforcement soon. Another pause. She also said to wait until you were ready to talk. Are you ready? I looked at the evidence, at the timeline, at 42 years of my life spread across a workbench. Yeah, I said. I'm ready. Rosie's Diner. Tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock. Coffee's on me. Tom, this is going to be bad. I figured. That's what friends are for, Bill. We'll handle it. I hung up, sat there in the dark. Maybe I wasn't alone after all. Maybe that was the point. Pop used to say a man's word was his worth. But he never said a man had to carry that worth by himself. Through the window, I could see lights on in the house. Linda, probably wondering where I was. Probably worried that I'd missed the signing appointment. Probably calling Derek, calling Martin, trying to figure out what went wrong. Let her worry. Let them all worry. I had people now, real people. And maybe that was worth more than pride. Tom Daniels looked older than I remembered. Grave at the temples, lines around his eyes. But when he smiled across the diner booth, it was the same grin from 40 years ago. Bill Patterson, still drinking it black, I see. Only way that makes sense now. He didn't ask what I meant, just waited. Good sheriff's skill, knowing when to let silence do the work. I told him everything, showed him the evidence on my phone, the forged signatures, the emails, the timeline. He listened without interrupting, taking notes on a small pad. When I finished, he sat back, let out a long breath. That's elder abuse, fraud, forgery, maybe conspiracy. He tapped his pen on the table. Bill, this is prosecutable. I can have her picked up today. No. No? Not yet. I couldn't explain it, even to myself. I need to do this right. There's doing it right, and there's giving her time to run. Tom leaned forward. You've got the evidence now. Tomorrow she could destroy it all. She won't. She thinks I'm too confused to figure it out. Are you sure about that? You missed the signing yesterday? She's got to be suspicious. He was right. I'd seen it in Linda's eyes last night when I finally came in from the workshop. The way she'd studied me, calculating. Just give me until Friday, I said. Why Friday? Church fundraiser. She's being honored. Tom's eyebrows went up. You want to do this public? My daughter and my neighbor think it's the only way. Otherwise, Linda spins it. Makes me look crazy. And you think standing up in church and accusing your wife of 42 years is going to make you look sane? I think it makes her unable to lie about it later. Tom drank his coffee, thinking, I don't like it, Bill. Too many variables, but it's your call. He pulled out a card, wrote a number on the back. That's my cell. Anything changes, anything feels wrong, you call me, day or night. Thank you. One more thing. He stood up, dropped money on the table. Martin Hewitt. He's in deep with some loan sharks out of Columbus. We've been watching him, waiting for something to stick. This might be what we need. He put his hand on my shoulder. You're doing the right thing. It takes guts. I wasn't sure about that. Felt more like paralysis than courage. Thursday morning, Linda mentioned the doctor's appointment. Honey, we missed Dr. Brennan yesterday. I rescheduled for this morning, 10 o'clock. Oh, okay. She studied my face. You forgot again, didn't you? I guess so. Something flickered in her eyes. Doubt, maybe, or suspicion. But she'd invested too much to back out now, had to see it through. Dr. Brennan's office smelled like antiseptic and old magazines. Linda sat beside me in the waiting room, her hand on my knee, playing the devoted wife. Sarah was in the parking lot, listening through my phone. I'd put it in my shirt pocket, recording app running. The nurse called us back. Doctor, Brennan was younger than I expected, maybe 50, kind eyes, firm handshake. Mr. Patterson, your wife tells me you've been having some memory issues. Before I could answer, Linda jumped in. Oh, doctor, he's been so forgetful lately. Can't remember conversations, gets confused about dates. Mr. Patterson? Dr. Brennan looked at me directly. Can you tell me what year it is? I hesitated, playing the part. 2023. No, wait. See? Linda's voice had satisfaction in it. He does this constantly. Dr. Brennan ran through the tests, drew a clock face. I drew it perfectly, then scribbled over it, made it messy, named the months backward. Got half of them right, stumbled on the others. The doctor watched me carefully, too carefully. Mrs. Patterson, could you step out for a moment? I'd like to speak with your husband, alone. Linda's smile tightened. Of course. When the door closed, Dr. Brennan sat back in his chair, studied me for a long moment. Mr. Patterson, I need to ask you something, and I need an honest answer. When he folded his hands. Do you want to be here? The question caught me off guard. Because, he continued, your initial responses are excellent. Your motor control is perfect. You're performing confusion, but underneath it, I see someone very sharp. He leaned forward. What's really going on? I looked at this stranger. This man who could either help me or destroy me. I'm being told I have memory problems, I said carefully. Do you think I do? Dr. Brennan held my gaze. Honestly, no. I think you're sharp as a tack and something else is going on here. Before I could respond, Linda knocked and came back in. Is everything all right? Dr. Brennan closed his file. I'm not comfortable making a diagnosis today. I'd like to schedule comprehensive testing, multiple sessions. Cognitive assessment takes time to do properly. Linda's face went tight. But, doctor, we need something in writing. For legal purposes. Power of attorney decisions. Then you'll need to wait for proper testing. I don't rush cognitive diagnoses, Mrs. Patterson. Oh, his voice was firm. It's not good medical practice. Of course, we understand. But her hand on my arm was like a vice. When can we schedule the testing? My nurse will set that up, probably 3 to 4 weeks out. In the parking lot, Linda was silent until we got to the car. Then she turned on me. What did you say to him? Nothing. He asked questions. I answered. But you were too lucid in there, too sharp. Her voice was rising. You embarrassed me, Bill. Made me look like I'm making this up. I answered his questions the best I could. She started the car, drove too fast out of the parking lot. Her phone rang, Derek's name on the screen. She answered on Bluetooth. It didn't work. The doctor won't give a diagnosis. Derek's voice filled the car. What do you mean it didn't work? He wants more testing. Says he needs multiple sessions. Damn it, Linda. We don't have time for this. Those papers need to be signed. I know that. Then figure something out. Make him look confused in public. Get witnesses. Do whatever you have to do. I'm trying, she hung up. Realized I'd heard everything. But what could she say? I was supposed to be confused. Probably wouldn't remember it anyway. I spent Thursday afternoon in the workshop, but I couldn't focus. Couldn't plan. Just sat there with all the evidence around me, frozen. Every option felt wrong. Go to the police. She spins it, makes me look paranoid. Stand up in church. I look like a fool who couldn't even protect his own assets. Sign the papers. Lose everything. Looked at the wedding photo again. Linda at 22, laughing at something. I couldn't remember what had made her laugh that day. Couldn't remember if I'd ever really known her at all. 42 years. Which moments had been real? Her hand in mine at Pop's funeral. Was she calculating even then? The way she'd cried when our grandson was born. Performance or truth? My phone rang. Number I didn't recognize. Mr. Patterson, this is Thomas Reardon. I'm an attorney in Columbus. Your daughter suggested you might need legal representation. Relief washed through me. Sarah had found someone outside Martin's circle. Yes, I do. Can you come to my office today? I've reviewed the documents your daughter sent. This is serious, Mr. Patterson. We need to move quickly. An hour later, I was sitting in Thomas Reardon's office downtown. Expensive suit, expensive desk, sympathetic smile. This is clearly fraud, he said, reviewing the bank statements. We can file an emergency motion, freeze the accounts, get injunctions. It felt too good to be true, but I was desperate enough to believe it. I'll need complete medical records, Reardon said, to prove your competence, and I should coordinate with Martin Hewitt's office to get copies of your estate documents. Something in those words made my stomach turn. You know Martin? Old friend. We were in law school together. I stared at him. You're friends with Martin Hewitt? Well, colleagues. Why? I stood up. I need to think about this. Mr. Patterson, time is critical. I'll call you. I left. Sat in my truck in the parking lot, hands shaking, called Sarah. Where did you find that lawyer? Online. Why? What's wrong? He's Martin's friend. Law school together. And silence. Then, oh God, Dad, I'm sorry, I didn't. It's okay. We tried. But it wasn't okay. Everyone was compromised. Every avenue blocked. The system itself felt rigged. I drove around for an hour. Couldn't go home. Couldn't face the workshop. Finally, ended up at the cemetery. stood at Pop's grave in the cold. I don't know what to do, I said to the headstone. Everything's falling apart. Everyone's either crooked or can't help. And I'm just tired, Pop. I'm 67 years old, and my wife's been poisoning me and stealing from me, and I can't even figure out how to stop her. A cardinal landed on the headstone, bright red against the gray stone. Pop loved cardinals. Used to say they were good luck. I need more than luck, I told the bird. I need a miracle. The cardinal flew away. I stood there alone as the sun started setting. My phone buzzed. Text from Gladys. Bill, where are you? Sarah's worried. Another text from Sarah. Dad, please call me. Another from Tom. You okay? I had people, real people who cared, but I was still paralyzed. Still couldn't make myself take the final step, because standing up in that church meant admitting everything, to everyone. No hiding, no dignity. Just Bill Patterson, the fool who let his wife drug him for months. I sat in the truck as darkness fell, unable to move forward, unable to go back, stuck. I didn't go home Thursday night. Couldn't face Linda's questions, her fake concern, her calculating eyes. Slept in the apartment above the shop. Sarah had made up the couch for me, left a blanket and a pillow. 4 a.m, I woke up, couldn't get back to sleep, wandered downstairs to the workshop, turned on a single work light. That's when I remembered the attic. Hadn't been up there in years. Linda always said she'd help me go through Pop's things, but we never did. Now I knew why. She didn't want me connected to the past, to strength, to examples of men who stood up. I pulled down the attic ladder, climbed up into the dusty darkness, found the box in the corner, Pop's papers from the 40s and 50s, letters, documents, photos, stuff I should have gone through when he died, but the grief had been too raw. Started reading by flashlight, letters from my grandfather to Pop. I'd never met my grandfather. He died before I was born. But Pop had talked about him sometimes. Said he was a hard man, principled. One letter, dated 1947, caught my eye. Son, they're calling me a troublemaker. The bank manager I testified against was well-liked, had friends. People say I should have kept quiet, not made waves. Your mother thinks I've made enemies we can't afford. But here's what I know. When I walk past that courthouse, I hold my head up. That manager was defrauding farmers, stealing from people who trusted him. I saw it. I said it. I stood up. Some things matter more than being liked. Truth matters. Your name matters. Being able to look yourself in the mirror matters. They'll forget the gossip in a year, but I'll remember what I did for the rest of my life. And so will you. That's the legacy that counts. And I read it 3 times. Then I found another letter, this one near the end of grandfather's life. The bank manager went to prison. Took 5 years, but justice came. Most of those farmers got their money back. Some thank me. Some still won't speak to me. I'm at peace with both. A man's word is his worth, son. Remember that. Not his money, not his friends, not his reputation. His word. The truth he's willing to speak, even when it costs him. I sat there in the attic, holding these letters. As the sun started to rise, Pop had given me the pocket watch with that inscription. A man's word is his worth. And I thought it was about keeping promises, about being reliable. But it was deeper than that. It was about standing up, even when it cost you everything. Sarah found me in the attic at 7. Dad, you okay? I showed her the letters. She read them in the growing light, then looked at me. Your grandfather was brave. Or stubborn. Or foolish. I put the letters back in the box. Hard to tell the difference sometimes. I don't think it's foolish to tell the truth. We sat there in the dusty attic, surrounded by the past. What if I do it? I said. What if I stand up tomorrow night and everyone thinks I'm crazy? What if they side with her? Some will. Some won't. But you'll know what you did. She touched the letters. And maybe that's what matters. Friday morning, one day until the fundraiser, I told Linda I was going to the hardware store. Instead, I drove past our house, slow, just to see. Derek's truck was in the driveway. 10 a.m, and he was there again. I parked down the street, walked through the Johnsons' backyard. They were in Florida for the winter. Came up along the side of my house. Through the kitchen window, I saw them, Linda and Derek at the table, papers spread out, property assessments, bank statements, a bottle of champagne already open. Derek had his arm around her waist. She was laughing. Really laughing. Not the polite church lady laugh, but genuine joy. He kissed her, long and deep. I took photos through the window. Hands steady now, cold and clear. By tonight, you're rich and free, Derek said. I could read his lips through the glass. We're rich and free. Linda leaned into him. God, I can't wait to never see his pathetic face again. 42 years of playing house with a grease monkey. Something in my chest cracked. Not my heart breaking. That had already happened. This was different. This was the last piece of hope dying. The final wish that maybe, somewhere under all the lies, there'd been something real. There hadn't been. Derek's phone rang. He put it on speaker. "Patterson's signing today, right?" Martin's voice, panicked. "Relax, Marty. It'll happen." "It needs to happen. My guys are done waiting. I need that money by Saturday." You'll have it. The old man's barely functional now." I stood behind the lilac bush, listening to them plan my erasure, watching my wife celebrate my destruction. Took more photos, more video, then walked back to my truck. Sat there for 30 minutes. Couldn't feel anything, just cold. My phone buzzed. Text from Sarah. "Dad, where are you?" I texted back, "I'm done playing dead. Let's do it." That afternoon, we gathered at Gladys's house. Safe territory. Sarah had her laptop out. Gladys had her notebook. Tom Daniels showed up in civilian clothes. "You're sure about this, Show?" Tom asked. "I'm sure." Sarah had put together a video presentation. Emma's original footage of Linda crushing pills. The bank documents with forged signatures highlighted. The emails between Linda and Derek. The photos I'd taken this morning through the window. "It's 15 minutes of evidence," Sarah said. "Clear, damning, undeniable." "The church has a projection screen," Gladys added. "I'm on the fundraiser committee. I reserved it for a special tribute video for Linda. They think it's a surprise celebration." "It'll be a surprise," I said. Tom walked through the logistics. "I'll be there in plain clothes, 2 deputies also civilian. When the video ends, we move in. Linda, Martin, and Derek, if he shows. All 3 for fraud and conspiracy." "Derek won't show," Sarah said. "He's too smart for that." "Then we pick him up after. I've got a warrant ready." We rehearsed it. Sarah would run the laptop from the church tech booth. Gladys would manage the church staff, make sure nobody cut the power. Tom and his deputies would position themselves near the exits, and I would stand. In the middle of the service, stop Linda's acceptance speech. Tell the truth in front of everyone. "What will you say?" Gladys asked. I'd been thinking about that. Didn't want a speech. Didn't want drama. Just truth. "I'll keep it simple. I have something the congregation needs to see." I looked at them. "Then we play the video. Then I say one line. 42 years I gave her. She can have the shame instead." Sarah's eyes were wet. "That's perfect, Dad." "One more thing," Tom said. "If this goes wrong, if she somehow turns it around, makes you look crazy, you need to be ready for that. Public confrontations are unpredictable." "I know, but I'd rather try and fail than never try at all." Gladys squeezed my hand. "Your grandfather would be proud." That evening, I had to go home. Had to keep up appearances. One more night. Linda was making dinner when I walked in. Pot roast. Used to be my favorite. "There you are," she said brightly. "Where have you been all day?" "Just driving around, thinking." She studied me. "About what?" "Things. The past. Tomorrow." "Tomorrow?" Her voice sharpened slightly. "The fundraiser. You're getting honored. I'm proud of you." The lie tasted like copper. But I needed her unsuspecting, needed her confident. "You're coming." She sounded genuinely surprised. "Wouldn't miss it. You've worked hard for this town. Deserve recognition." Something in her eyes softened, or maybe I just imagined it. Maybe I wanted one last moment where she was the woman I'd loved, not the stranger who'd poisoned me. "Thank you, Bill. That means a lot." We ate dinner together. 42 years of practice made it look natural. Pass the salt. "How's the roast?" "Did you hear about the Hendersons' new grandchild?" She brought me tea after dinner. I took it, went to the bathroom, poured it down the sink. That night, we lay in bed, both pretending to sleep, both wide awake. I could feel her tension. She knew something was off, probably calling Derek in her head, running through scenarios, wondering if she should speed things up or run. But she'd come too far, invested too much. The fundraiser was tomorrow, her moment of glory. She couldn't resist that. At 2 a.m, I got up, went to the workshop. Sarah was already there, couldn't sleep either. "Ready?" she asked. I pulled out Pop's pocket watch. "Wound it, put it in my vest pocket for tomorrow." "No," I said, "but I'm doing it anyway." Sarah smiled. "That's all courage is, Dad, doing it scared." We sat there until dawn, didn't talk much, didn't need to. When the sun came up, I looked at her, my daughter, who'd driven 8 hours because a neighbor sent a letter, who'd set aside her own life to save mine. "Thank you," I said, "for coming back. Thank you for finally listening." 6 o'clock. The fundraiser started at 7. Time to get ready, time to stand up. I drove to the cemetery first. Needed to do this right. The morning was cold, frost still on the grass. Pop's headstone looked smaller than I remembered. Or maybe I'd just gotten older, made everything else shrink. Stood there with my hands in my pockets. "Pop, I'm about to do something that might make me look like the biggest fool in town." My breath made clouds in the air. Or it might be the bravest thing I've ever done. Hard to tell the difference from here. A truck rumbled past on the road. Birds sang in the bare trees. I found grandfather's letters, read about what he did. Standing up to that bank manager, I pulled out the pocket watch, looked at it. A man's word is his worth. I get it now. Not about keeping promises. About speaking truth even when it costs everything. Set the watch on the headstone for a moment. Let it tick there. I'm scared, Pop. Scared everyone will think I'm weak. That I couldn't even keep my own wife honest. That I let this happen. My voice cracked. But I'm more scared of staying silent. Of letting her win because I'm too proud to admit I was fooled. Picked up the watch. Put it back in my vest pocket. Right over my heart. So, tonight, I'm going to stand up. Going to tell the truth. And whatever happens after, at least I'll be able to look in the mirror. The cardinal came back. Same one from before, or maybe a different one. Landed on the headstone. Cocked its head at me. Yeah, I told it. I know, time to go. Spent the day with small things, teaching Tommy how to change the oil in his toy truck. The one with the red paint chipped off. He worked careful, tongue between his teeth, getting it right. Grandpa, how come you're not sleepy anymore? I stopped drinking bad tea, buddy. He accepted that. Kids are good at accepting simple truths. Sarah brought sandwiches to the workshop at noon. We ate without talking much. The radio played low, some old Johnny Cash song about walking the line. Mom called me, Sarah said finally. This morning, I looked up. She wanted to know if I'd be at the fundraiser, said she'd love to see me. That we should put the past behind us. Sarah's jaw was tight. I told her I'd be there. She doesn't know you're helping me. No, she thinks I came home for her award ceremony, to reconcile. Sarah crumpled her napkin. She actually thinks I'd celebrate with her after what she's doing to you. She's always been good at believing her own stories. Emma stopped by around 3, brought cookies she'd baked, chocolate chips still warm. I'm going to be there tonight, Mr. Patterson. In the back row, with my mom, just so you know you're not alone. Her hands weren't shaking anymore. She stood straighter. Thank you, Emma. What you did, showing me that video, that took real courage, and you would have done the same for me. Would I? I wanted to think so. But I'd spent 42 years not seeing what was right in front of me. I hope I would have, I said honestly. After she left, Gladys came over with fresh bread, still warm, wrapped in a kitchen towel. For after, she said. You'll need to eat something. Keep your strength up. You make it sound like I'm going into battle. Aren't you? We stood in the workshop doorway, watching the afternoon light fade. Henry used to say, the hardest battles are the ones where you have to be vulnerable. Gladys's voice was soft. Where you can't hide behind armor or anger. Where you just have to stand there and be honest. I'm terrified, Gladys. Good. Means you're doing something that matters. 5 o'clock. Linda was in the bedroom getting ready. I could hear her moving around, opening drawers, humming. I put on clean jeans, flannel shirt, work boots, the vest with Pop's pocket watch. Looked at myself in the bathroom mirror, 67 years old. Gray hair, weathered face, hands that still carried grease under the nails. Not a hero. Just an old mechanic who'd been fooled by his wife. But tonight, I was going to be honest. And maybe that was enough. Linda came out of the bedroom in a nice dress, pearls, hair perfect. She looked beautiful. Probably looked the same way all those nights she'd been crushing pills into my cocoa. You look handsome, she said, adjusting my collar. You look nice too. We stood there, husband and wife. 42 years between us, all of it a question mark now. I'll see you at the church, she said. I need to be there early, committee set up. I'll be there at 7. She kissed my cheek, the way she'd done 10,000 times before. Thank you for coming, Bill. It means everything to me. After she left, I sat on the edge of the bed, our bed, where we'd slept together for 42 years, where she'd lain beside me planning my destruction. Text from Sarah. Dad, you okay? Me. Getting ready. See you there. Sarah. We've got you. You're not alone. I stood up, checked my pocket. Phone recording app ready, Pop's watch ticking steady, walked to the truck, started it up. The engine turned over smooth. I'd kept it maintained, even through the fog. Some habits run too deep to break. Drove to the church, parking lot was already filling, saw people I'd known for decades. Walt Thompson from the hardware store, the Mitchells who lived down the street, Mabel from the diner, all of them about to see me stand up and admit I'd been poisoned by my own wife. Sat in the truck, engine running, heat blowing. My phone buzzed. Tom. In position. You ready? Me. As I'll ever be. Sarah. Tech booth secured, video loaded. Just give me the signal. Gladys. Church staff thinks we're showing a tribute video. They're excited. Oh, Bill, God be with you. I turned off the truck, sat in the silence. This was it. Last chance to back out. Could start the truck, drive away, let them win, or I could walk through those church doors and take back my name. Pop's watch ticked in my pocket. Steady. Reliable. True. I got out of the truck. The church bells started ringing. 7 o'clock. Time to stand up. The church was packed. Every pew full. I counted maybe 150 people, all dressed nice, all smiling, all thinking this was just another Friday night fundraiser. Linda stood near the front, surrounded by church ladies, laughing, accepting compliments, playing the beloved community servant. She saw me, waved. I nodded back. Took a seat in the middle, not front, not back, where everyone could see me when I stood up. Walt Thompson sat down beside me. "Bill, haven't seen you at church in a while. How you feeling?" "Better than I have in months, Walt." "Good, good. Linda's been worried about you." "I'll bet she has." Pastor Mark took the pulpit at 7:15. "Welcome, everyone. Tonight we honor a pillar of our community. Linda Patterson has given countless hours to our food bank, our charity drives, our shut-in visitation program." He listed her accomplishments. The crowd nodded, murmured approval. Linda sat in the front row, dabbing her eyes with a tissue. Perfect performance. I looked around. Sarah in the tech booth, laptop open. Tom Daniels near the side door, plain clothes, arms crossed. Emma in the back row with her mother, all of them waiting for me. My heart was hammering so hard I thought people could hear it. Pastor Mark smiled. "Linda has shown us what selfless service looks like. Please join me in welcoming her to share a few words." Applause. Linda stood, walked to the pulpit. The spotlight caught her pearls, made them shine. "Thank you all so much." Her voice was warm, genuine sounding. "This community has been my family for 42 years. My husband Bill and I." I stood up. The scrape of the pew was loud in the quiet church. Linda stopped mid-sentence, looked at me. "Bill?" Every head turned. "I have something to share with everyone." My voice came out steadier than I expected. "If you don't mind." Confused murmurs rippled through the crowd. Linda forced a laugh. "Honey, maybe after the ceremony." "No." Now, Pastor Mark stepped forward. "Bill, this isn't really the time." "Pastor, with respect, this is exactly the time." I looked at the congregation, at faces I'd known for 40 years. These people deserve to know who they're honoring. Linda's face went pale. "Bill, you're confused. Let's discuss this at home." I turned to Sarah in the tech booth, nodded once. The lights dimmed. The projection screen behind the pulpit lit up. Emma's video played first. Clear footage of Linda in our kitchen, crushing white pills with a spoon, stirring them into cocoa, checking the hallway, practicing her smile before carrying the mug out. The church went silent. You could hear people breathing. Linda's voice cut through. That's edited." The video continued. Bank documents appeared on screen. My signature forged, account transfers highlighted in red. $287,000 moved while I was supposedly losing my mind. Then the emails. Linda to Derek Malone. "Once Patterson's incompetent, we liquidate everything. 60-40 split as agreed." Derek's response. "Your husband's a fool. This is going to be easy money." Finally, the photos from this morning. Linda and Derek at my kitchen table. Champagne at 10 a.m. His arm around her waist. Her words on the recording. Crystal clear. I can't wait to never see his pathetic face again. The video ended. The church stayed dark for 3 heartbeats. When the lights came up, Linda was gripping the pulpit. Her makeup couldn't hide how white her face had gone. I walked to the front, stood in the center aisle where everyone could see me. "I'm not confused," I said. "I'm a victim of fraud. My wife has been drugging me for months, stealing everything my father built, everything I worked for." My voice didn't shake. She partnered with our family lawyer and her lover to have me declared incompetent. To take it all. Linda's mask shattered. "You bastard." She screamed it, actually screamed. "You'll regret this. You'll die alone, you pathetic old man." She tried to run for the side door. Sarah stepped out of the tech booth, blocked it. Linda spun toward the main entrance. Tom Daniels moved into the aisle, pulled out his badge. "Linda Patterson, we need to talk. Now." A commotion in the back. Martin Hewitt had been sitting in the last pew. He bolted for the door. 2 deputies grabbed him. "Martin Hewitt, you're under arrest for fraud and conspiracy." Martin was babbling. "It was the gambling. I had debts. They threatened me." Tom put handcuffs on Linda. "Read her rights," while the entire congregation watched. She turned at the threshold, looked at me with pure hate. "You'll die alone. That's what you wanted? Congratulations." I didn't answer. Just watched as Tom led her out. The church was dead silent. 150 people staring at me. Pastor Mark stood frozen at the pulpit, mouth open. I faced them. All of them. My neighbors, my town. 42 years I gave her, I said quietly. My father's house, my mother's ring, my trust. I paused. She can have the shame instead. Started walking down the center aisle. The crowd parted. Nobody spoke. Some people reached out, hands on my shoulder. We believe you, Bill. Good for you. That took guts. Others looked away, still processing. Or judging. Both, probably. Emma was crying in the back row, her mother's arm around her. She mouthed, "Thank you." I walked out into the cold night air. Sarah and Gladys followed. On the church steps, I stopped, started shaking, couldn't stop. "You did it, Dad." "Yeah, I did." Looked back at the church. My reputation had just changed forever in there. Couldn't take it back, couldn't undo it. Gladys put her hand on my arm. "Come on, let's go home. Real home. My place tonight." I let them guide me to the truck. Behind us, people were starting to file out of the church, talking in clusters. Probably would be talking for weeks. But I'd done it, stood up, told the truth, and I was still standing. 3 months later, the snow was gone. March came in gentle, with crocuses pushing through the dirt behind the shop. I sat in Margaret Chen's office, the real lawyer Sarah had found after we'd sorted through the mess. Clean record, no connection to Martin or Linda or any of it. "The bank reversed all fraudulent transfers," Margaret said, closing the file. "Your house title is clear. Life insurance beneficiary restored. Patterson Automotive property remains yours." And Linda? Plea deal. 18 months for fraud, forgery, and elder abuse. Martin got 2 years for conspiracy. Derek Malone's still in Nevada. Warrants out, but he's not a priority. 18 months for 42 years and a bottle of pills. "How do you feel about that?" Margaret asked. "I don't know," his honest answer. "Part of me wanted more. Part of me just wants it over. That's normal. Justice rarely feels as good as we think it will." Sarah squeezed my hand. She'd taken leave from her Seattle job, wasn't going back. We'd been rebuilding things between us, slowly, carefully. We left the courthouse, walked to my truck in the parking lot. The F-150 was still mine. Linda hadn't gotten to transfer the title after all. "So what now?" Sarah asked. "You keeping the house?" "Already listed it. Too many ghosts." "Where will you go?" I smiled. "Come see." The apartment above Patterson Automotive wasn't much. 2 rooms, small kitchen, bathroom with the original 1960s tile. But it was mine, clean. No memories of Linda in it. And next door, Sarah had rented the other apartment, moved her life back from Seattle. For good, she said. "Patterson and Daughter Automotive," she said, looking at the new sign we'd hung last week. 3 generations of honest service. "Think we can make it work?" "We'll figure it out." She looked at me. "Together." That Saturday, Tommy came over, 8 years old, eager to learn. I showed him how to change oil properly in his toy truck. Clockwise tightens, counterclockwise loosens. Remember that. He nodded, serious, mimicking my movements exactly. Gladys appeared with fresh bread around noon. "Thought you boys might be hungry." She'd been doing that, stopping by with food, with coffee, with company. Her kitchen window faced my workshop. She could keep an eye on things, not because she didn't trust me, because she cared. We ate lunch in the shop, me, Sarah, Tommy, Gladys, like a family, not the family I'd thought I had. A different one. Chosen, real. Emma stopped by that afternoon with her nursing textbook. "Mr. Patterson, I have a question about anatomy. For school." I didn't know anything about anatomy, but Sarah did. They sat at the workbench while Sarah explained muscles and bones and how bodies heal. Tom Daniels dropped by too, off-duty just checking in. We drank coffee, talked about the upcoming baseball season, didn't mention Linda at all. This was my life now. Simple. Smaller than before, but honest. Sunday evening, I worked alone in the shop. Tommy's toy truck needed a brake adjustment. Small work. Careful work. My hands were steady. Mind was clear. No fog. No confusion. Just me and the tools in the quiet. The phone rang. Sarah, checking in even though she lived next door. "I'm fine, Sarah. Just working." "Love you, Dad." "Love you too, kiddo." Set the phone down. Finished the repair. Tested the wheels. They spun smooth and true. The workshop door was open to the spring evening, mild air flowing in. I could hear birds, smell fresh-cut grass from somewhere, feel the warmth coming back to the world. Looked around the shop. Same space where I'd hit bottom 3 months ago. Same walls, same tools, same man, but not the same. I'd asked for help, accepted it, survived it. The pocket watch ticked in my vest. Pop's watch. Grandfather's lesson. A man's word is his worth. I'd spoken my truth, lost my wife, lost my illusions, lost 42 years of what I thought was real. But I'd kept my word, kept my name, kept myself. And that was worth something. Turned off the lights, locked the shop door. Walked upstairs to the small apartment. Tomorrow was Monday. Shop reopened at 8. Customers coming. Work to do, life to live. I was ready. Not happy yet, exactly, but ready. And sometimes ready is enough. At 67, you think you know who you are. You've lived long enough to believe you've seen most of what life has to offer. The surprises, the betrayals, the lessons, you figure they're behind you. Then life shows you different. I gave Linda 42 years, my father's house, my mother's ring, my trust. And she repaid me with pills in my cocoa and lies in my bed. Could have stayed silent. Could have signed those papers, let her win, avoided the shame of everyone knowing I'd been fooled. But my grandfather taught my father, and my father taught me. A man's word is his worth, not his money, not his reputation, his word, the truth he's willing to speak even when it costs him everything. So I stood up in that church, let the whole town see what she'd done, what I'd let happen. Some people think I'm a fool. Some think I'm brave. Most are just glad it wasn't them. I don't know which one I am yet. Maybe both. What I do know is this. I can look in the mirror now, can sleep without fog in my head, can teach my grandson about honest work without feeling like a hypocrite. I've got a daughter who drove through the night to save me, a neighbor who baked bread and gathered evidence because she cared, a young woman who risked her job to tell me the truth. That's family, real family. Not the blood kind always, the chosen kind. If you're going through something like this, if someone you love is taking advantage, stealing from you, making you doubt your own mind, I'm telling you, stand up, ask for help, speak the truth, it'll cost you. Won't lie about that. But silence costs more. And at the end of the day, when you're sitting on your porch with black coffee and a clear head, watching the sun go down on a life you can be proud of, that's worth everything. Pop's watch ticks in my pocket. Steady, true, honest, just like I'm trying to be. The third step on the porch still creaks. Some things don't need fixing. Some things are just fine the way they are. I take a sip of coffee. It's bitter and black and real, just the way I like it now.